I want to slightly shift to parents now, because this is an interesting topic, and I've never actually asked you this question, which is so I hope you have a good answer.
Okay.
So you've had several times. Oh, sorry. You've had several times where I've been here while it's happened, where parents call you or text you and ask you to talk to their kid because their kid is in either a slump or a mental funk or whatever, and they'll say to you, "Hey, do you mind just like pulling them aside during the camp today, or can you talk to them and just see how they're doing or whatever?" And I find that really interesting because it's like they don't know what to say or what to
Yeah.
do, and they're the parents. They're the parents.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's their fault or they
Yeah.
just don't know. So what
Like
do you,
as far as hockey
as far as
goes.
hockey
Yeah.
goes, like
It's
what?
hard to give advice for hockey.
So this is my question: is what are you when you have these? First of all, when you have these conversations, how does it typically go? Number one, what types of things do you say? And then what do you think is like? What is the magic that you're providing that another parent should kind of either be able to do or be aware of or know so that they can deal with the conversation in a little bit of a better way? And I know we've talked about before how you don't necessarily want to hear it from your parents, so sometimes it's just kind of nice to get it from somebody else. But just
Yeah.
go on that for a bit and what you think.
Well, first of all, I'll say it for my own son, right? I'm at the point now. I'm at the point now where I feel like if I talk to him about hockey, and I'm very, very truthful here. I feel like if I say too much about the hockey, that I'm in his way. Okay.
Mhm.
And I say that because I don't know what the coaches are expecting from him. I don't know what they are telling him. I don't know what the systems are. I don't know. Like I can figure it out as it goes. I don't know what's in their head. So to say to my son, I think you need to be harder on the forecheck. That might be the right thing to say, but it also might be the wrong thing. So me giving him the advice would be just, okay, Dad, I don't want to talk to you anymore because you're a pain in my ass.
Yeah.
Just be my dad, right? So that's number one. So I now I defer to the coach. Like, don't talk to me about the specifics of your game. Talk to your coach, because and to be truthful, I don't want to be his coach. I just want to be his dad.
Yes.
I want to
Okay.
enjoy.
Sorry, let me interrupt for a second.
Yeah.
Because so important distinction here. Because you said don't talk to me about the specifics of your game, and it's like yes, like but it depends on what the issue is, right? So it's like
yeah.
you want to talk about like, hey, in this situation, do you think like this? I should have made this play. What if I would have made this play? And you can be like, oh, well, I was watching from up top. It
Yeah.
looked like this.
Yeah.
That's different than
Yeah.
saying, hey, I have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm getting the right thing. So how do I deal with that, Dad? And that's where, as dad, you don't have an answer. You can't have an answer, right? So, like you said, you can have your opinions, but the correct advice to give your kid in that situation is say, go talk to the person who actually is in control of what you're going to get to do. See what they want from you, right? Because you telling like this, you're just taking a guess, and it might be an educated guess or a pretty well informed guess, but you still might be wrong,
Yeah.
right? So I just want to make that
Yeah.
that distinction.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side of that, what I can always do to him is I could always remind him of what I think he is as a player, right? And I think very highly of him as a player. And I give him the specifics why. I find him very unique in how he plays hockey. So that's good.
That's like the positive encouragement type.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, but it's the truth. I
Right.
said you're very unique because of this, this, and this. True? And he goes, yes. I said, so if you're not playing unique, then you're no good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true, Dad.
Yeah.
Right? So what makes you
Yeah.
unique is your uniqueness.
Yeah.
And
That
if you
seems so
choose-
obvious. Easy to
Right.
forget. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are those things that make you unique so he can go bang, bang, bang? Now, not all kids are unique,
Yeah.
right? But he goes, oh yeah, this, this, and this. So yeah, so do that.
Mhm.
That's what they like as far as I can tell.
Right.
And love hockey, man.
Mhm.
So that's what I say to him. It's like when he because he's young, and all kids are young, and all kids want encouragement and whatever. So that's what I say. Now the next thing is, it could be done for everybody, and it should be done by everybody, parents, coaches, players. When you're talking to players, like even if you're a captain or you're telling me, I just can't get ice right now. Like, coach is sitting me. Like, my question to you is, shouldn't, or as a friend, as a coach, as a parent, shouldn't be, I know it's bullshit. That's not the answer because it doesn't solve anything. The first question should be, okay, so why do you think that's happening? Right? So let's just say, like, I'm going to change gears totally here and say I'm the player that I'm on the cusp of making a team, right? And you come off the ice and you didn't get as much ice in training camp, whatever, and you go see mom and dad, just they didn't play me that much. Like, I don't know, man. The question, it can't be, well, poor you. It should be like, why do you think that's happening right now? And it's not negative. Why do you think? Brain goes into, it's either going to be negative or positive, but we got to come up with an
Solve
answer.
a problem.
We got to come up with an answer.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Okay, well, we need to figure out why that might be it.
That's not a good
right?
answer. Yeah.
So what are the things that you think you did well today? Okay, nothing. Okay, well, that's a problem. Or one thing. Oh, okay, you got one thing. You think you did that well. Okay. Was it better than everybody else? Is it good enough? Is it good enough to be better than anyone else? Do you do it better than anybody else? Or you just do it kind of the same? Because if we're fringe, we got to do something better than other people, right? Okay, so now we identify the problem. Like, why is that happening? Okay, because I didn't do this or I did this. Okay, well, we need to do that. Like, we have to fix the problem. So the pity parties and the wish it would just go my way does not work. So as parents, you do have a good opportunity for them to, like, even though it might not be lovey-dovey, it's the right thing to do. It's to say, like, why is that happening? How do we fix that?
Yeah.
How can you fix that? What can we do about it? And really, those are the answers, because you don't have a lot of time to feel sorry for yourself, because you're going to have to get on the ice next shift, next day, whatever it is, and fix it.
Yeah.
Or else time runs out.
And let them come up with the answers. You've said that before, but you're asking the question and let them figure out, because you get into, especially because I remember this, things aren't going your way, you're very hostile. Like, I remember that, like, when if I was having a bum out after a game or something like that, I wanted to fight. It was like, if you tell me something,
you're miserable.
I'm right away going to tell you why what you said is wrong and stupid and you don't know and whatever. Yeah. Particularly if it's mom and dad, because for some reason it's very easy to get frustrated with your parents when you're a teenager. So if something bad was going on and my parents were offering me the solution, I didn't want to hear it. Like, don't tell me what you think I need to fix, right? You don't know, even if they're right. It's like, I just don't want to hear it that way. So it's the way you framed it is important too, right? To ask the question.
Yeah, you have to turn into, like, part psychologist.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Hugs and kisses all the time don't work. Neither do kicks in the ass all the time.
Yeah,
you don't want to say because you suck.
Yeah.
Maybe that's good sometimes, actually, but by asking the questions, it's like, for example, let's say, well, dad, mom, coach, or if you go into the coach and said this, like, I feel like I'm playing better than this guy and this guy. Okay, why? And then you have to come up with reasons, and are you though? Are you? Like, those are the questions. Like, you have to ask the hard questions.
Yeah.
And solve it. Like, and if you feel like, so let's go take a different situation. If you let's say you are outplaying someone that's 2 years older, that's been on the team for 2 years, let's say, and you're on your first year, or 3 years and you're on your first year, whatever. And maybe in your mind you are outplaying them, and maybe you actually are. Maybe you have to do a hell of a lot more for that person to get his spot taken, to take that guy's spot, take his ice. It's like in the UFC or in boxing, right? The champ always gets the seed of doubt if it goes by the points. So if you want to win the world title, or win to get to the world title, or whatever it is, UFC, boxing, whatever, the one way that you know that you can get the title is with a KO. But if you don't knock a guy out and it's on a point system, then it's subjective.
Right.
Subjective? Yeah. Subjective. You got the 3 judges that could say, well, I saw this, and, oh, well, Eric's the champ. You're still the champ because you didn't beat the champ. So if you lay him on his ass and he looks at the lights when after 10 seconds, you win. So it's the same in the game. Like in the game of hockey, it's like you're in that competition, and if you're not markedly better than the guy that you think you're better than, then you didn't earn it yet necessarily, right?
Yep.
So
yeah,
just the thing. It's a hard reality, right?
Well, and I was gonna say the other part too is you've mentioned this before. Just to bring it up again, is you also have to kind of read when they want the problem solving conversation versus when they want to complain. Because that was something I remember too, or even like it's not even just a hockey thing. It's like anything. If I'm talking to my girlfriend and she wants to tell me about why her day was a pain in the ass, I can sit in my chair and just be like, well, this isn't even a problem. Just do this, this, and this, and there's no issue. So sometimes they actually don't want to hear that either. So it's having a little bit of that balance of reading what type of conversation they actually want to be having. And that's why, and you're really good at this too, man, is like letting the player dictate how they want the conversation to go. And then you kind of read off of that and you can plug in, okay, I'll ask this question here, or I'll just let them talk or whatever. You are good at that. And would you say when you're talking to other kids, you kind of just do what you were just kind of laying out? Like you kind of have the same conversation you would have with Charlie with whoever you're talking to, more or less, no?
Yeah, like I know my son a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
So sometimes I just have to be a dad to him.
Yeah.
And I said this on one of the podcasts before, right? I had a conversation with him his first year, and I was getting the sense that he didn't want me to give him advice in any way, and fair enough. So I sent him a text because I didn't even know if he would answer the phone. He wasn't mad at me, but just like he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
So I sent him a text saying, you know what, son, here's the deal. I want to be a dad. Number one, I want to be your dad. It's the most important thing in my life is that I'm your dad. Hockey's the secondary by far. So when you call and you have issues, because year one's tough. If you have an issue or whatever, I'm going to ask you, do you want to talk about it, or are you just venting? And then there was times where he said, no, I want to talk about it, because he does respect what I have to say. And then there's times where he goes, oh no, I'm just blowing smoke. I said, okay. So then I don't have to get too invested. I know he can handle it. But there was times where he asked me, no, what do you think? I said, okay, that's cool, and I'll ask you. For a parent, it made it a lot easier for me. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, like, because my wife will ask some questions because it's her son, and she wants everything to be perfect all the time too, like just like I do. But she would say this, and this. Well, maybe Charlie this. Maybe I go, listen. At the end of the day, this is his life, and he has to want it more than anybody for it to work out. And you have to understand that. Like, this is his dream, and it's really, really hard. So he will figure it out because he wants to, right? But at the end of the day, I love the fact that it's kept my relationship with my son really, really good, because I don't have to blow smoke up his ass. I could tell him the truth but only when he wants to hear it. Other than that, I could just let him talk, and I go, yep. Mm-hmm. Right. So when you were asking me about other kids, yeah, it's a little tougher. Well, not tougher, but I don't know them as well, and I have less to lose, if that's yeah. For sure. So, but I care deeply, so that's where I go and I'll say, well, I'm real with them. Like, what are you doing differently? How's it? Just those questions. Yeah. And so, for example, last year I had one of the players. You were around quite a little bit for that was playing, and he was starting to get scratched, and he called me. And I kind of, it's in his DNA to be a little bit lazy. So I called him out on it. And he's like, yeah, but the coaches are just trying to bury me. I said, okay, like, let's say they are, but let's be real. And I gave him some facts. And then he goes, yeah, but the coaches are just trying to bury me. That's two. So I said, well, so I gave him some stuff. I said, we'll work on this, this, and this. And he goes, okay, thanks, Andy. So next game, scratched, played. Then he said, I got a couple shifts, and they're just burying me now. I said, well, do you want to solve it or not? He goes, yeah. I said, send me some clips, and I'll just give you my feedback, just very, very honest feedback. So he sent me about 5, 6 clips. So I showed him what he did well. I said, okay, so you got pucks coming off the wall. You peel them off well. You get them out. That's good stuff. Said, you got a shot on net in that situation. Very good. Very good. I said, but in this clip here, this clip here. So I went through it. I said, that hit needs to be, you have to hit. You have to finish that hit. This one you had to move your feet. This one you had to get to open space. So I gave him 4 or 5 things, and I said, if you don't do these things, this is why this player is getting that ice, because he does. So if you don't do those things and do them right now, then you will not get any ice. And I'm just being honest with you. He goes, well, they're just trying to bury me. Okay. So I can't help you is the answer.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the answer. And it was the answer. That was the answer, because that's what he wanted to do. Now, the other thing is if you think that you're going to turn this around because you had one good shift or one good game, that's not, no. This is, you're in the mud. You've kind of created a identity for yourself, and it's going to take, it might take you, this was, well, let's say, yeah, it might take you 2 months, might take you right to the end of the year to gain their trust back that you can do this on a consistent basis, but it's going to take time. But you can get out of it if you do these couple things. It's like, they're just trying to bury me. I said, well, they're just trying to bury you. That's not really trying to solve a problem.
Right. And that actually goes to a point that I wanted to kind of start to wrap up on.